Hi Sagittarius, how are you? This is Shooting Stars Tarot. Welcome to your weekly love reading for the week of August 20th through the 26th. And in this reading, I'm showcasing my brand new cards that I'm in love with. And I'm going to be using these for the September extended readings. They're very deep and very symbolic of energies and cultures through time. I mean, they're just amazingly gorgeous cards. And I didn't lay the spread out first like I have in the past because I wanted to talk about this Ouroboros here and what it really represents. Okay, you may be familiar with it, maybe not, but it's a snake eating its own tail. And if you look, you can see that they're interconnected, and this also represents infinity. And because they're connected, they can't really complete the task. I mean, they can't themselves anyway, but the fact that they're connected, they really can't. And it just represents, you know, alchemists kind of view the Ouroboros as, they actually call it the opus. Okay, it's like the great work, and it's spiritual practices that lead to the mystical union of self and all. And then it's also kind of this cyclical nature of life and rebirth and the primordial unity that cannot be extinguished. Okay, we're all connected. Everything is connected. Okay, so I just wanted to share that really quickly before I cut the deck. These cards are very large, so they don't fit in the screen, so I'm going to hold them up as we go through. It'll be the same spread as last week. All right, Sagittarius, let's look at this one second. Can I move these over more? So the card at the bottom of the deck is what? The Five of Cups. In this deck, the Five of Cups is represented by Chiron, which is a planet that we have in our natal chart, and Chiron is the wounded healer. And so yes, the Five of Cups can mean regret, but it also represents positivity on the other side of the regret. There's equal positivity to how much negativity there is, so you can choose to focus on either one. That's why this is the wounded healer, because sometimes as we go through love specifically, which is what we're focusing on here, we have very hurt emotions, and we can also, okay, it's not only about us being hurt and choosing to look at the bright side and realizing later on that things get better with time, but it's also choosing to be selfless in love. Okay, sometimes love can hurt, but sometimes we have to what? Walk away for the betterment of ourselves and the other person. Let them be, trust their decisions. Okay? The wounded healer, it says so much, just those two words, it says so much. So I love that in this deck it's represented by Chiron. I'm going to place this here. All right, Sagittarius, what are we looking at with you? We have the Four of Swords, Knight of Pentacles, Eight of Wands, and Justice. So this Four of Swords talks about healing our spirit, healing our soul, but also trusting in the outer greater world to connect us to reality. That's why we see here the clouds, and there's lightning here that connects us to things that can be developed and things that can grow. So it's not just going off into la la land and taking a nap and resting and sorting out our thoughts. Yes, it still is that, but it's for the purpose. It serves a purpose to reground our emotions and our thoughts so we can be productive and continue to move forward. It is a resting state, but it's a purposeful resting state. Okay? Remember the lightning connecting to earth or buildings, which are things that humans have built. Remember that. The lightning connects us to our productivity. That's why this rest is so important. to reconnect us. Okay? So in love, Sagittarius, we have the Wounded Healer as your overall card, and we have the card of rest and reconnecting. We have the Knight of Pentacles here. Slow progress forward. Okay, it's represented by a lion and a child. So there's great power here. It's very grounded. This approach, the Knight of Pentacles, he approaches very slowly, very cautiously, and not before there's full preparedness to do so. So there's a warmth associated with this card because the intention is warm and honest. It's also very strong and grounded. So Sagittarius, what does this mean in your love life? Okay. Is somebody approaching you? Are you thinking very cautiously about approaching someone but not fully prepared yet, but you're trying to get prepared so you can? Is that why we're resting? To bring us to this point. Okay. And then we have the Eight of Wands. And the Eight of Wands is what? First of all, Wands, fire sign, you, okay? Power, passion, fire. And I just got this deck, so I'm learning it. And there's so much symbolism in this deck that I have yet to read about and learn. So I'm going off intuition here and also off of all of my knowledge about the other decks and traditional Rider-Waite meanings that I know. But look at this. The Eight of Wands traditionally means rapid communication. It also can mean Cupid's arrows, being struck by love, communication coming to you. We see the lion here. We see the fire. We see lion tails, okay, or wands. And we see this person upside down, but being supported by water. That's why it can get confusing sometimes when they say Cupid's arrows, because it's like, no, it's just action, it's just communication. But there's emotion associated with that. She's being supported by water and all of her emotions, and she's in this resting state because she's waiting for them to come to her. And it's very strong, passionate communications that are pulling her out of this dream state into a passionate reality. Okay, so Sagittarius, this week there will be messages. Maybe lots of them. It will feel good because, yes, she's still in her dream state and she's still surrounded by her emotions and the messages are still coming to her, but it will feel good. They're feel-good emotions. It keeps her warm and safe. The communication that's coming to her keeps her warm and safe. It's trustworthy. The lion is what? Aside from power, it's loyalty. It's, royalty because it's real, it's earth, it's grounded. He's the king of the jungle because he is the most powerful, the most stable. So this is a very beautiful card that talks about the safety that's coming with the communication. And then we have the Justice card. And clearly, all of these cards have different, this is a very kind of almost Native American-esque feeling to this card. This is very Eastern, and this is Egyptian. See how they tie in all these different cultures, all this mythology with Chiron. So Justice, and the card of Libra, there is balance. This communication will make you feel, Sagittarius, that there is justness in what's happening. It's fair. It's equal. There's truth behind it, and it's fair. So overall, good week. There's resting, there's messages, there's warmth and approach, and it will feel fair. All right, what's happening in your partner's realm? Even if you're not committed, even if you're completely single, this applies, And this doesn't have to apply, so you can skip this if you're like really completely single and nobody's on your mind. But usually people have somebody on their mind. But if not, this is moot, or apply it to you as needed. So they have the Six of Pentacles, which represents fairness, equality in relationships, giving and receiving. But there's a selfless approach to this giving with this card. That's what the white wings and the white flowers are associated with. It's giving from a selfless place of not having to receive. Receiving comes with giving, usually automatically. And so when you're kind of in the highest stages of love and you are giving selflessly for the sake of the only person, of the other person, solely for the sake of the other person, to make them happy, that's when real love is returned to us. And so there is self-love in doing that as well. So they're in a very even-keeled mindset. There is real love associated, but it might be that it's kind of a little bit too little too late. And I don't know what happened in your love life, Sagittarius, or what is happening. And especially with these solar eclipse energies, there's major changes coming, and it's not necessarily what we are wanting. We're kind of going to be moving in a direction of something that we are needing in our life. And the reason why I say that is because your partner has the Ten of Swords. And this is an ending. It's an emotional ending. It's a thought-provoking ending. And it's kind of dark. We have the moon here. It's night. We have the skeleton of the horse and the skeleton of the bird, representing death, the crow. So there's an ending to something, and not necessarily a warm something. Maybe they're realizing this possibly a little too late, which it seems like you're wanting them to have this realization. So they may really feel like this is completely over, Sagittarius, and maybe it's not, but they may not know that. They may really feel like this is completely over. And look, we have the Four of Cups here. The Four of Cups talks about boredom. It talks about love being offered all over the place. And yes, I mean, we have raging waters and water spraying all over the place. This is talking about very passionate love and emotions being pushed towards us. But it's not being accepted because this shell is just solemnly, quietly ignoring all the water that's thrashing around it. All that emotion that's thrashing around it, it's being ignored. So does your partner feel like this? Are they trying to reach out to you? And you are still kind of wanting to shield yourself a little bit, maybe too much? Okay, they're feeling like their efforts are going unheard. And it's causing them to feel, one, that there's this realization that they may need to be giving more. They want some return in some way. But they also are feeling like it's over. And we have this Seven of Swords here. Again, we see the crow. This represents, and the snake. Okay, and this is representing sneaky behavior. A snake, okay? Snaky behavior. Something is kind of intertwining with evil and endings and death of a situation. I don't know what the emerald represents. It definitely represents something I don't know yet, but there is kind of an earthly, gritty knowledge with this information. We see the bird of the air, we see a snake, and the emeralds are from deep within the earth. So there's an earthly grittiness here to this realization. So what's interesting, Sagittarius, is that you are feeling you're in a warmer place. There may be some emotional protection going on because of this, possibly because of regret. There's emotional protection going on, and there's rest. But remember, this rest is so we can get reconnected. There's thoughts of progress forward, and there's thoughts of justice. But is it your partner that did mess up? Or are they thinking that you're messing up? Okay, they're viewing an ending. They're viewing that their efforts need to either be reciprocated, or that they're not being reciprocated, and they're feeling like maybe there's no emotion associated from your end. So they're in this hurt place. But they're continuing to try. That's why we see all these messages. But they should be maybe a little bit more warmly received and not covered by the safety net that we can put ourselves in. Okay. Now we have the King, challenge, benefit, outcome. The King of Swords is the challenge. So is there too much strategy and analysis going on and less action? Sagittarius, you're a fire sign. You like to go. Okay, you're represented by the I can remember this word all the time except for when I'm talking about you, to you. This card is like, what is it, half man, half horse, and the explorer, he's an archer. And so you like this exploring, so why are you stopping and analyzing? Why are they analyzing? Okay, there's not a lot of action, it's more planning for action, which is maybe why we see this very slow movement forward. The benefit is the Ace of Cups, so there is love here, deep in your gut. Okay, it is a true connection. And again, I don't know the symbolism of all of this yet. There's so much symbolism here, which I'll talk about in my September general extensions. But I have to learn it first. But if you just look at the general meaning of the Ace of Cups, it means overflowing with passion, new love, new or reconnecting and feeling connected and feeling love, giving and receiving love. And it feels as if it is spiritually, it's like a divine connection, and it's being handed to you and gifted to you. And it's almost, you have this kind of feeling as if you're in the right place at the right time and you've met your real person. So that's the benefit. There's a lot of emotions here between you. Right? Even if you're not together, even if you are together, okay, you're kind of in different areas of thought. You need to come together and figure that out if you're in a committed relationship, and not put up those barriers so much. But couples go through this type of thing all the time, and it just takes time to work through. So high level, you know, you can work through this if you're in a committed bond, but be conscientious of where your partner's mindset is, because they may be really hurt and they may really be feeling like it really is over, and you just might be taking a time out and kind of maybe hoping that they'll see the error of their ways in kind of a sideways way, getting justice. The outcome is the Five of Pentacles, and this is a feeling of a card. It generally represents being quote-unquote left out in the cold. Now, if you can see him, he is having to protect himself by being connected to, this is kind of this scene of nature and streams and water. He's having to connect himself to an external plane instead of to the partner. His heart has to be connected because he's feeling like he is out in the wilderness. So there is also regret and loss associated with this card. But does it have to be that way? Do we have to be the wounded healer? Do we have to hurt the relationship to teach each other lessons? No, not necessarily. Can we just choose to look at the positive side? Yeah. Okay. There's mysticism here. There's a unicorn. He's looking towards the past, but there's a very fruitful future. He can just get up and walk off of all of this emotional fountain and move forward. There's a lot of wisdom in this card. So are we trying to teach justice, or is it just coming to us in a way we were not expecting? Hey, is your partner apologizing? Do they need to apologize? Do they feel like they're walking on eggshells and that they have to fix things? Because that's not a good dynamic either, Sagittarius. So think about your love life and your relationship this week in terms of understanding what the other person might be thinking based on your actions, and vice versa if you're cross-watching. Okay? Because I feel like there's something that is whole and real here, but it's almost as if you're both kind of hurting their relationship to maybe teach some sort of a lesson. You're wanting justice or getting it. Somebody's getting away with something, or they're aware that they're getting away with something, and that's not good either. All right, Sagittarius, well, thank you so much. I hope you enjoyed that reading. Stay tuned for your September monthly generals. The free ones will be up, and then also the extended ones. I'm really excited to delve into the extendeds, and I'm really hoping to do an hour, hour and a half extension for each of the generals. They will be for purchase because they take a long time and a lot of energy to do. But if you don't want to pay for a private reading, because those can get expensive for people, so if you don't want to pay for a private reading and just want, if this is resonating with you when you watch your September generals, it's a good idea to just keep that resonating with you and just pay a smaller price to get more information about the situation. And I'm intertwining a lot of astrology into it also. So I'm excited. I'm really excited. I'm scared at the amount of energy it's going to take, frankly. But I think that it's a better way to share the message to more people than just to continue get completely overbooked with private readings and you know, hopefully be able to benefit more people that way. So I'm very excited, very, very, very excited and scared to do it. So just stay tuned because those will be up right around the time or simultaneously with these weekly readings. So stay tuned, they're coming, all right? Thanks so much, Sagittarius. Bye.